Hello everyone and welcome to Nintendo Lounge, and today I'm joined by someone who's not Jim. It is the Radio Sega man himself, Green Viper 8. Hello my good sir, how you doing?
I'm doing good, thank you, Nintendo Lounge Dr. Scottnick.
That's good to hear. And today we're talking about Team Sonic Racing. Our opinions on the game so far, our thoughts on why this game's getting so much hate, and just our predictions in general of what the future of this game may be. But before all that, we're going to be talking about the history of the Sega Superstars series, because this game is developed by Sumo Digital, who have worked on quite a few games in the past with Sega. The first one being Sega Superstars Tennis, which brought together a whole bunch of Sega characters in a virtual tennis-esque like game. Did you ever play this game before?
I played quite a bit of it actually. I thought it was a good game, obviously not the world's best tennis game, but wasn't expecting to play that, so it's just fun for what it is really.
Exactly. I played this one on the Wii back in the day. I played it way too much, and the missions in the game, there were like several challenges you had to do, and I was so stuck on them and just kept playing it all the time with motion controls, of course, because I was one of those kids. And I've got to say, Sega Superstars Tennis had a really fun, amazing intro, and it was a great start of things to come, because next up they worked on a completely different type of Sega collaboration game, being Sonic and Sega All-Stars Racing. It was pretty good. I also had that one on the Wii. Green Viper, how did you enjoy it?
Enjoyed it very much so. It's probably actually my favourite racing game, much more than the second one. Have a couple hundred hours in it. The way I always describe it to people is it feels like very old school type of racing, like something you get on the Dreamcast. It's not up to date and modern like some of the Mario Karts at the time or the clones. It felt very different, which was appreciated because it was a nice change of pace from everything else at the time.
So would you say you enjoyed that one more than, say, Mario Kart 8 or Mario Kart Wii?
Definitely, yeah. I think it's just simple to the point. The tracks aren't too complex. It doesn't try to add too many mechanics. It's just racing. That's why I think it works so well.
Now, Sonic and Sega All-Stars Racing had Banjo-Kazooie in the Xbox version, a much better Banjo-Kazooie game than Nuts and Bolts. The Wii version had the Miis. The Xbox version had also the avatars. The PS version, they didn't get anything. And ToeJam and Earl was also originally planned to be in the game. Next up, we had Sonic and Sega. Sonic and All-Stars Racing transformed. They ditched the Sega branding for some reason. Green Viper, any idea why they would have done that for?
I mean, you got to get that Danica Patrick, man. Like, you don't understand.
Exactly. Sonic and All-Stars Racing transformed had Danica Patrick, a NASCAR racer, as well as a Yogscast character, Wreck-It Ralph, among other non-Sega characters. It's a lot like Smash Bros, how you get third-party characters, but in this racing game you get real-life people. What did you think of All-Stars Racing Transformed?
I mean, unlike Smash, all the characters are trash anyway, but I thought this one was good. This is like the one that sort of heralded as like the greatest racing game, better than Mario Kart, because people say it relies more on skill, which is a complete lie. But it's okay. I think it just tries to add way too much to the point where it just feels a bit bloated. Like, the kart racing's fine, the plane's fine, the boat's fine, but all in like one package, it just feels like they're trying to push too much in, I feel.
I disagree. I actually really loved all the different aspects to it, because they're all thought out, they're all kind of polished. Maybe not so with the boat every now and then. That one was not as fun as the flying and the normal racing. Some of my favourite levels, the Afterburner stage, played this on the Wii U so much. Again, also had lots of challenges in the game. That's something I really like about Sumo Digital racing games, as opposed to, say, Mario Kart 8. They have a lot of single-player aspects to it, wherein All-Stars Racing Transformed, you had sort of like a single-player challenge mode where you go through different sort of cups. You have to do a drift challenge, you'd have to destroy the tank, which was a really weird sort of challenge. I don't know why they did that. And among many more, the Superman 64-esque one where you have to fly through all the rings. And also had a great soundtrack composed by Richard Jacques. Do you agree that Sonic and All-Stars Racing Transformed had an amazing soundtrack?
I mean, it goes without saying when it's Richard Jacques, but then again, I mean, he did Rise of Lyric as well, so we like to forget that existed, but yeah, it's great music. Very unique.
Indeed, and we all thought Sumo Digital went quiet, no longer going to be working on any more Sonic racing games, and then all of a sudden, at South by Southwest, they teased this little Sonic racing game with a little R. A lot of people are like, oh, is this a Sonic R2? Is this a new Sonic and Sega All-Stars Racing? When it first got teased, what did you think it was going to be?
I think it was fairly obvious that it was going to be another kart racer. I was just thinking there's no way they're going to sort of go back to the Sonic R style when that was so sort of panned. But I do think an on-foot racer works, but there was no way after they'd sort of built up the car racing brand that they were going to go back to something like Sonic R. It didn't feel like feasible.
Exactly. And did you think this was going to be a Sonic-focused racer like we all know it is now? Or did you think this was going to be another Sega sort of collaboration type racer game?
I think Sonic made more sense just because the brand recognition is much higher in other parts of the world. Because here in Europe, it's very much so like the Sega brand is sort of the draw for those games, whereas elsewhere it's the Sonic brand. So it made more of a sense, like, globally to go with the Sonic game, so I sort of always expected them to do that, if that makes sense.
And before E3, they revealed Team Sonic Racing to the world after a Walmart leak, thanks Walmart, where they had a very short little trailer showing off Sonic and Shadow and some little rock music playing in the background, and everyone's a bit like, well, that was a bit underwhelming of a reveal trailer. Little did they know, about 2 weeks later, they would have a full trailer with Crush 40 in the works. What did you think about Crush 40 finally coming back?
I thought it was cool. I didn't necessarily think it fit the game as much as the Richard Jake soundtracks of the other Superstars games, but then it was... I guess I shouldn't spoil it, but I mean, it wasn't too much to be disappointed about. But I was very happy they're back, just it didn't sort of feel like the right place for them to be back, in my opinion.
Team Sonic Racing got announced. They showed off one stage, which is a bit weird that they would only show off one stage in the reveal trailer, being the Wisp Circuit stage, and it would have this whole team racing mechanic to it, where you would have a team of 3, and how you win is based on everyone's ranking. So if you come first, but your 2 teammates came last and second last, the average out would probably make you come last, whereas if you have your teammates in first, third and fourth, there's a good chance you'll be at number 1. Sort of a way of changing up the racing game formula a little bit. Izuka from Sonic Team said he wanted to create a racing game that was easy for his whole family to play and everyone would have a fun time. But I feel like this team racing mechanic sort of bloats the game up a bit too much, makes it a little bit too complicated. It may be original, but I'm not sure how it works as of yet. What are your thoughts on the whole team mechanic?
I really can't comment because I don't know anything about it, because they've been really secretive about details about this game, minus like the character roster and the music. I really don't know how the sort of team mechanic works. I've seen videos of it, but not enough to sort of understand it fully. I guess that's what the game's release is for, but I can't say anything.
And this whole game has been seeing a lot of criticism online by Sonic fans, which is really weird because back in the day before Sonic Boom, everyone was holding hope on Sonic Boom Rise of Lyric. Everyone's like, oh, this is going to be amazing, this is going to be great. Before Sonic Forces come out, everyone's like, this is going to be amazing, this is going to be great. It's so weird to see before Team Sonic Racing comes out, there's been a lot of pessimism towards that game. Probably due to the marketing for it, because their marketing is not very good. It started off with just a one-track reveal. Then they showed off the team gameplay spotlight, which was a really weird sort of trailer. Not all that exciting, where there was just text on the screen sort of trying to explain how the team gameplay mechanic worked, but didn't do all that great. Then they just chucked in some music tracks without really showing what the levels are like. And then also the killer of the very limited character selection of 15 characters in total. We've got Team Sonic, Team Dark, Team Eggman, containing Zavik from Sonic Lost World, remember him? Team Rose, and Team Vector. What are your thoughts on the whole cast list for this game?
The cast is fine, but the teams are really odd. None of the teams feel like they fit in place. Trying to remember the exact one, but I think it was Vector's team. It's like a bunch of characters. Have they
Team
even
Vector
ever sort
is
of canonically
Blaze,
met?
Silver, and Vector.
It's such a weird choice of characters. Like Blaze and Silver go together, but then why is Vector there? Like, have they even sort of met before in any of the game stories? It made no sense to me. But I guess the character choice does. But not the actual teams. Very odd.
But coming from games such as All Stars Racing Transformed, other games such as Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, which have 20 plus rosters, 25 plus rosters, having a game with only 15 characters doesn't seem all that good. And of course we had the game delay into the new year. A lot of people saying this is just a way just to not have to compete with Super Smash Bros. And they're not actually going to do any extra work on it. But Green Viper, let me hear your thoughts. What are your thoughts on all this hate over the game? Why do you think it's getting hate? And are you optimistic or pessimistic about the game?
Quite frankly, I think most of the hate is ridiculous, because the game, well, don't get me wrong, I don't think it seems as good as Transformed, but I haven't seen anything that makes me sort of go, that looks a bit sketchy. Like, it looks fine. The only thing that sort of had me worried was the frame rate issues the demo had, but hey, there's been like a 6-month delay, so that can be fixed. That's what a delay fixes, not just they can sit there getting a paycheck for 5 months not doing any work.
Do you think this delay is them adding stuff to the game and sort of changing it up, or do you think it's them just waiting on it for a better time to release it, sort of get more marketing out there? What do you think?
See, I think it's a bit of both, because the marketing was very lacking, so they go, oh, this is a perfect opportunity to get in some more marketing. But on top of that as well, knowing Sumo, I know they put in a lot of hard work to their games, even like patching them a couple years after they've been released. So I think Sumo's definitely sort of working hard on the game to make sure, or not working hard, but working on it while doing other projects and stuff, just to make sure that it's at that 100% mark, because they're normally pretty good about that. So I don't sort of get the conspiracy theory of it all just being a way to not compete with Smash Bros. But I'm sure that does help a bit, because May's a bit of a dead time for games, so that will definitely help with sales, but I don't think that was the motivation there.
And another reason people are hating this game is the downgrade from Transformed to this game. Transformed, of course, as we said before, had the flying, the boating. This one just has the kart racing. Do you think this is going to affect Team Sonic Racing's appeal, or do you think this whole team aspect, when they properly sort of show it off, will kind of make up for that?
Well, I think it's going to not appeal to Sonic fans, because obviously they're the people who've been playing Transform non-stop for the past few years, and they're not going to be happy that they've taken out some of the mechanics. But on the other hand, I can sort of contrast that by saying when I've played Transform with some friends, I've quite often sort of explained to them the controls of the boat and the airplane, and they just don't get it, and they don't enjoy the game because it's too complex to understand. So I think in a way Sonic fans and Sega fans aren't going to be happy, but the casual audience, I think the team mechanic is, when we finally find out about it, it's going to be a lot simpler to understand than what we've got used to over the past few years.
It's always the vocal minority that are always just heard the most, especially in fandoms and stuff like that. You never really hear the people who are like, oh yeah, I'm excited for this, and just the sort of casual player who's like, oh, this looks pretty good, eh? Pretty good. Of course, this year we're also getting Crash Team Racing. How do you think that's going to fare compared to Team Sonic Racing?
It's a tough one to call, because as far as I know, that's a remake, and I think that will help because it's already got an established sort of baseline of this is how good the game can be. Whereas Team Sonic Racing obviously doesn't have that. It just has past titles, which it doesn't really have much to do with. But at the same time, I think Sonic as a brand, even like despite Crash's resurgence, has much more brand appeal. So I think in theory, Team Sonic Racing can come out on top. But I think reviews will also be quite damning for either game.
And finally, as we said before, we've had a whole bunch of music shown off on the YouTube channel. We've had the Marketplace, Sonic Unleashed remix by Jun Sonoy and Hyper Potions. We've had Toot Toot Sonic Warrior, Deep in Space and Time by Jun Sonoy and Richard Jacques. Was it Jakes? Jacques? I don't know how to pronounce it.
No one does.
Among other remixes. Is there any sort of remix, any sort of stage you're hoping for?
I can't really say yes, because I think they've sort of nailed the stage selection. They've also said that there's going to be quite a lot of repeats. So like,
similar to the original All Stars Racing, where they had like 6 main worlds, but then like 3 versions of each world, kind of stuff.
Yeah, so as an example, like let's say Honeycomb Highway from Sonic Lost World, there'd be 3 different versions of that stage, all with different layouts, but they're all based on the same level. I think. So I assume they've probably either revealed all the levels they're going to reveal, or they've got a few more. And if they are, they're going to be from sort of Sonic games in the last 4 or 5 years. Because especially if they want a family game, they've got to have levels that the younger audience is going to remember.
Not Green Hill Zone.
Yeah, a Green Hill Zone, good meme. But obviously, like, they're going to pull stages from a recent list, so that way the younger fans are going to actually remember them. Like, they're not going to pull out City Escape, because the only people who are going to remember that are like the people who grew up with SA2, which is obviously approaching 20 years old now, which makes many people feel old in the community. Yeah, as a whole, I think just all the remixes that have been coming out, I've been very happy with, and especially the composer selection as well, because obviously we've got Crush 40, we've got Hyper Potions, Jun Sonoi, who else? We got T. Lopes from Sonic Mania, Richard Jakes. There's a ton of people, more than I was expecting. I was just expecting Crush 40 and that was it. But
yeah, I was saying,
as a whole,
the music's Crush 40, Jun Sonoi.
The music's shaping up great. I'm really happy with the previews I've heard of it.
And if the game does turn out to be a dud, at least we'll have an amazing soundtrack, and hopefully Sega release a physical album of it, because I would definitely want to pick that up. Final question: which console will you be picking this up on?
I'm gonna probably end up getting it on. That's a tough question. I think PS4, because I've seen many people have sort of pre-ordered it for that. Like, I've got about 50 sort of people I know who got it on that, and probably PC is a second.
That's fair. I'm probably gonna pick it up on Nintendo Switch, obviously, and probably on PC as well, for the best performance. And I assume a lot of people are probably gonna pick it up on Steam. And I'm pretty much looking forward to it in general. Any final words?
If you're not very happy with like the way the game's looking currently, well, obviously there's still plenty of time for release that things can be changed. But also just remember that Sumo, as I said earlier, are pretty good at updating their games after their release. So there'll be patches, probably there'll be some DLC, hopefully. So I think if you're not very happy with how it looks now, just sort of be patient, wait for the game to come out, because it could still all completely change after launch, and maybe we'll have a game a couple years down the line that we're all happy with on the same level that we were with Sonic All-Stars Racing Transformed.
So there we go, Team Sonic Racing coming out May 21st. Are you looking forward to it? Are you dreading it? Let us know in the comments section below. And until then, stay subscribed. See you laters.